Today we'll be working in my workbook called The Story of Noah and His Family. And we have already worked on chapters 1 through 5 from the evil, which sets the stage for the flood. Noah is to build the ark in chapter 2, which has to do with all the dimensions and the length of time, etc., that Noah takes to build the ark. The flood itself and how far it went and how long it was on the earth. And then in chapter 4, we see the ark lands on Mount Ararat, and then and the water receding and the dove and the raven. And then on 5, we start reclaiming the land. They come out of the ark and they start leaving the ark. So now we're going to go to chapter 6. Canaan is cursed. And so now we're getting into some interesting things that happen after they leave the ark. So let's go ahead and go to Canaan is cursed. Canaan is cursed, and this is Genesis 9:20 through 29. And this probably isn't a chapter that works well with children, just to let you know. So the scripture goes, Genesis 9:20, Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. So obviously this is much longer after the flood. How long after they landed was the story? Based on the story's ending, it would have to be a minimum of 20 years. This is based on Ham already having his youngest son, Canaan, and Canaan being a young adult by the time of this story. So what is Noah called here? He's called a man of the soil. He would have done a lot of planning before he left the ark. Remember, we talked about all the ground, all the vegetation and plants that he would have had to plant in those 100 years to get all the seeds. So he probably was pretty versed in planting. Think of all the plants he had to have grown before the ark left to obtain the seeds for the new crops after they landed, and what he may have learned during that process. This makes his occupation here very logical. What did he plant? He planted grapes, or basically that. He planted a vineyard. Now, I'm sure he planted other things. They can't just live on wine alone, but this story has to do with the vineyard that he planted. And again, a sense of time passing is it takes time to plant a whole vineyard and have it grow into grapes enough to use to make wine. What happened when he drank some of the wine? He became drunk and laid uncovered inside his tent. What does Proverbs below say happens to one intoxicated by wine? Proverbs 21, wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler, and whoever is intoxicated by it is not wise. So if you figure he's over 600 years of age, he's probably 601, 602, and the main reason for his life has now been complete. His sons are now adults, they have children, he can rest some, and then he gets lazy in a sense, not lazy. Isn't as concerned. So let's continue. Okay, Ham, again the father of Canaan, which happens later. Well, actually, Canaan's alive now. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. Now, there's a lot that is not written in this story that we have to read between the lines to figure out. Now we have a situation. It is generally believed that the extent of the situation is not fully described in these scriptures. But what we do know and what we can surmise is that Ham saw his father naked inside Noah's tent. How now was the flap of the tent open and he saw his father through the opening? Or did he come in during the day to talk to his father and saw his father that way? We don't know, but somehow Ham saw his father naked. Also, there is a problem with the word told. In order for the story to have its full impact, Ham had to have told with delight and glee in disrespect to his father, rather than just mentioning it in passing. If he mentioned it just in passing and then they all came together to solve the issue, that would be different. But because of the results, the punishment, we know that it had to be more than just being respectful and realizing his father was accidentally exposed. So, what did Ham see? He saw his father naked. How do you think Ham saw his father this way? We don't know, but it would make more sense that he saw his father naked inside the tent of his father. What did Ham do with this information? He immediately told his two brothers who were outside. And again, with the story as it's written, it tends to indicate, verbally with glee, not in private. So other people also heard, etc. Ham didn't just tell his brothers in a casual manner. For the story to make sense, he had to have told them in what manner? He had to have told with delight and glee and disrespect to his father, like kidding and joking and these things, unrespectful. What are some valuable tips about speaking do we get from Proverbs and Psalms listed below? Proverbs 13:3, whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips come to ruin. Psalms 141, number 3, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. So basically, we need to learn how to not tell gossip about others, not tell others what we know about our friends and our relatives, or anybody else that we know. Okay. So the scripture continues. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so that they could not see their father naked. So they, out of respect, cover their father, never looking at his naked body. So this is out of respect to their father. But you notice Ham is not part of this group to protects their father. When Ham showing respect for Noah when he told with delight the condition he found his father in? No, that was not respectful. He didn't do anything about it. He didn't keep the matter private, but he immediately tells his brothers, probably in a public setting, so other people found out as well. And so he was not showing respect for his father. Was Shem and Ham showing respect for Noah when they covered their father? Yes, they went and covered him and did their best to not look at him and the whole thing. So they covered him. Did Ham help his brothers take care of his father? No, we don't. We don't see Ham at all in this. Excuse me. Been speaking a lot. Did Shem and Japheth wake their father when they did this? No, they didn't. They walked back gently and didn't even wake him on this. Did Shem or Japheth say anything to their brother about his disrespect? No, they didn't tell Ham that he was doing something wrong. They didn't. We don't see that at all either. Looking at the scriptures below, what advice would you give Ham? So Deuteronomy 5:16, honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God commanded you, that your days may be long and that it may go well with you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Proverbs 20:11, even a child makes himself known by his acts, by whether his conduct is pure and upright. So the advice I give Ham is to immediately ask forgiveness and to try to make amends for the fact that he makes this known publicly, or else he's going to be, there's going to be issues here, in which we find out there are going to be issues. So now, scripture continues. When Noah woke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. Now, this is very interesting. It isn't Canaan that did any disrespect to Noah, but his son Ham. So why does he curse Ham's son rather than Ham himself? So we'll be looking at that. There's probably more to the story than we know due to how upset Noah is. Could Ham have told several other people and made his father, the leader of the group, a spectacle? The details of the story are not known. Was Noah upset when he found out what Ham had done? Absolutely, he was very upset. Did Noah curse Ham or one of his sons? Noah cursed Canaan, the son of Ham. What did Noah curse Canaan with? He will be the lowest of slaves to his brothers. So why did Noah curse Canaan and not Ham? No one is really sure. Was Ham's nickname Canaan? We have no evidence of that. Was Noah cursing the youngest son of Ham because Ham was the youngest son of Noah? Unknown. Was it because more pain would result from cursing the son of Ham rather than Ham himself? Again, also unknown. Was Canaan part of the disrespect that Ham showed Noah, but we don't know his part of the story? Also unknown. Another possibility is that Noah refused to curse his son, Ham, because God had already blessed him in Genesis 9:1. In short, no one knows for sure why Noah curses Canaan, the son of Ham, rather than Ham himself. Did this come true? This is what Pastor Don Stewart says about the people of Canaan. Canaan, as well as his descendants, followed in the sinful way of their father. Punishment was placed upon the descendants of Canaan, the Canaanites. These are the people who were driven out of the promised land by the children of Israel. Consequently, they will be in servitude to the descendants of Shem and Japheth. Because the descendants of Canaan lived corrupt lives, their judgment was righteous. When the children of Israel entered the land of promise, they saw the detestable things that the descendants of Canaan were doing. God blessed Israel and cursed the Canaanites because their practices were similar to their father Ham. Quite a lot to be done just for one that makes you think. Let's not disrespect others, right? Especially our parents. So the scriptures continue. And he also said, Praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth. We will see more detail of where the descendants of all three sons go in the last chapter of this book, which is on chapter 10, the Table of Nations. From these scriptures, can you see who was the line of promise, the family line that will lead to the Messiah? Shem. Praise be the Lord, the God of Shem. Who will be the slave of Shem? Canaan will be the slave of Shem. Regarding Japheth, the eldest, may God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth. How is Japheth's territory both extended and also live in the tents of Shem? Consider this. We see that Japheth's descendants did inhabit the tents of Shem on a number of occasions. Descendants of Japheth inhabit the countries belonging to the posterity of Shem. This was verified by the Medes, who were the descendants of Japheth, together with the Babylonians seizing upon the Assyrian Empire and overthrowing that. For Ashur was of Shem, and in the Greeks and Romans who sprang from Japheth when they made conquest in Asia, in which were the tents of Shem's posterity. And particularly this was fulfilled when the Romans, who are of Japheth, seized Judea, who had long been the seats of the children of Shem, the Jews. And this is in biblical hermeneutics. So basically, several times through history, we see that Canaan is the slave of Japheth. Basically, Israel then takes the land of Canaan, and for a while, Japheth, Rome being one of Japheth's descendants, rules over Canaan. We see time where Japheth lives in the tents of Shem. So basically history will defend the scriptures here. So the scriptures continue. Genesis 9:28. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. How do we have so rich a history of what happened before the flood if there were only 8 people that survived the flood? Consider the flood following, and then we're going to use page 2. How long did Adam live? And so we'll look up here and see. And we're on page, let me look here real page we're on. So I'll bounce back and forth here quickly. Come on, come on. We're on 108. Okay. So page 2. How long did Adam live? Adam lived to 930 years. Okay. So page 108. Who is the last person that could have heard of Adam's stories before he died? Hint, he was 56 years of age when Adam died. So let's look at page 2. The last person that could have heard the story from Adam would have been Lamech, right? Last person to hear the stories of Adam would have been Lamech from Adam himself, right? So, who is this man to Noah? Lamech is Noah's father. Who are the two men that probably helped Noah build the ark before his sons could help? So, looking back on page 2, we have Methuselah and Lamech. Couldn't have been Enoch that would have helped. And remember, it was 100 years. Probably not Jared, as he dies in 1422, and 100 years behind 1656 is 1556. So it would have been Methuselah and Lamech that would have helped build the ark, other than his sons. Now let's consider who was alive before the death of Noah. Who was the last patriarch to be able to talk with Noah before he died? Let's look now at who was the last patriarch to be able to talk with Noah before he died. Okay, so Noah dies in 2006. So the last person that could have talked to Noah would have been Eber, right? Last person to talk to Noah could have been Eber. Correct. Well, but then Rehu could have done it. Serug could have known him. Terah could have talked to him, and even Terah, actually, because Abraham is actually born after Noah's death. So Terah probably heard from him as well. So you have Terah, who's the last person that could have talked with Noah. So let's look at 108 then. Who is the patriarch to Abraham, the father of all nations? He is the father of Abraham. This is how stories were handed down from generation to generation until they got to Moses, who wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. Now notice how the ages of death decrease rapidly after the flood. Shem died at the age of 600. Arphaxad, Salah, and Eber all died between what and what years of age? So all died between 433 and 464 years of age. Renee, come on. Okay. From Peleg through Abraham, they all died between 148 and what years of age? So let's look at Peleg to Abraham. Peleg to Abraham. They all died. The youngest was 148. The oldest was 239. So they're rapidly decreasing in age from 969. Okay, so now we come to the crossword. Okay, so we just Ham told his brothers Japheth and Shem what he saw. Who is Noah's father? Lamech. Number 5, Noah drank wine and became drunk. No, number 7, Noah planted a vineyard. Number 8, who is going to live in the tents of Shem? Japheth. One down. Who is Abraham's father? Terah. Ham is his father, which is Canaan. What did Shem and Japheth put across their shoulders? A garment. And Noah cursed Canaan instead of his father, Ham. So that's the end of this chapter. Thank you.